Hello, welcome to this video. I'm going to be sharing a member's question today and talking about that because I thought it might be useful to share. It's relevant to all human beings. It might be particularly resonant if you're a coach who's been working with the thinking environment, or perhaps you've been the recipient of the thinking environment, and talking about how what I share, what I point people to, is the level deeper than Nancy's wonderful work takes us to. So I'll start with the member's question and just read that out to you. How does Nancy Kline's thinking environment fit with what you talk about? I could see a lot of benefit in it when I first came across it. The impact of being able to talk into an open, receptive space. But now I'm starting to wonder, because if things aren't in people's awareness or consciousness, how will they get to explore at a deeper level? I can see Nancy Kline's work can take you so far, but there's so much you, as in me, and others like you have pointed me to that I don't think I'd ever have had on my radar if I'd not had those pointers and prompts. So how does this listening environment part of it all fall in? Without this exploration that I share, you might never stumble across the deeper aspects. So first of all, I could probably say with absolute confidence that if you're designed to look deeper, if that's what you're here for, it will find you, you will find it, you will come across it. So I think we can kind of park that one to one side. There was that kind of sense of, gosh, but if nobody's there telling you this stuff, how will you ever know it? So this deeper exploration that I'm in with people, if it's for you, you will find it, you will hear it, it will come into your awareness one way or another. So let's not worry about that bit, because if it's for you, and the fact you're even watching this video suggests that it is for you, at some point, either it will resonate today, or in 6 months' time, or 3 years' time, or 10 years' time, you'll go, oh, it's that thing. Yeah, that I'm interested in that thing. So it doesn't matter the timing, whatever the timing is, the timing for you. But yeah, the fact you're watching this suggests that already this exploration that I share is coming into your awareness. So let's talk more specifically then about Nancy Kline's thinking environment. If you've not come across it before, Nancy has this beautiful coaching approach called the thinking environment, which is described using 10 components. And that as the practitioner, as the coach, by you creating that environment for another, you then enable them to do better thinking. And with that better thinking, they're then able to take better actions and get better outcomes and results. And it's true. When we think better, we get better outcomes and results. And so to me, the thinking environment is an amazing opportunity to begin an exploration out of all the egoic conditioning that we've been identified with and that we've associated ourselves with, and that is all around us really in the world. We've been taught to identify with all these characteristics and traits and that inner critic in our heads, and nobody's ever told us anything different. So when the thinking environment comes along, and the thinking environment practitioner embodies some of the, or all of the components that Nancy offers in her approach, and when they use the questions that Nancy suggests and the approaches to meetings or whatever it is that the person is doing, we shift out of this identification with all the content of life, and we fall back into resonance with ourself, which is really what the 10 components are doing. So if I've got the web page up here because I couldn't remember all the 10 components. I won't go through them all, but for some examples of them, attention is one of them. So when we're just held in somebody's attention, that's incredibly powerful. Equality. When there's a sense of equality among us, when there's no better than, worse than, more capable, less capable, it's hugely impactful. When there's ease, when there's relaxation, appreciation, noticing what's good. So these are examples of the kind of thing that Nancy's 10 components include. And so if I'm here caught up in a whole bunch of egoic stuff, and I meet a person who's displaying or consciously being the 10 components, the resonance of them in that space is going to draw me into that same resonance. And this is where better thinking happens. This is where more holistic thinking happens. This is where, just more loving thinking and action happens. It takes account of the whole from a balanced adult perspective. Over here, when we're in the egoic space, it's all really childhood stuff, hurting stuff. It's where I feel hurt, where I feel I have to protect and defend an idea of who I think I am. And so coming over here, we're coming into unity, we're coming into wholeness, we're coming into our natural state of being. And from there, we do much better thinking and get much better outcomes because we're taking action from that holistic space. So Nancy Kline's work has an amazing impact for that reason. And when I first came across it, it was like, whoa, yeah, amazing to be listened to in that way. What I see now from what I've discovered is that Nancy Kline's thinking environments, her 10 components, are the practical, visual, step-by-step based actions or things to do in order to manufacture who we really are. So at the time, it made sense to me that I would want to do those things that Nancy suggests. I want to consciously go into a session thinking about, okay, how do I maintain ease? How do I maintain equality? How do I maintain a lovely quality of attention on this other person? There was a conscious process going on. How do I do it? How do I do it? How do I do it? So that I create the environment that allows the client to be in that space too. And like the questioner from the membership group, membership community said, you know, there's kind of a limit to that, because when we're in that kind of exploration, what we're really interested in is, how do I improve my life? It's like, I've got these problems, relationship, work stuff, money stuff. I've got these content-based problems. How do I solve them? And we come into this beautiful, open, easeful space, and we get better solutions to these content-based problems. There's nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly okay. So for those who are familiar with my river metaphor, we're shifting out of focus on the content of experience. We come into the settled experience, the flow experience of ourself as the river, and better solutions come, better outcomes appear, because we're no longer whirling around in the whirlpools, trying to improve the content from there. We come into resonance with ourselves. So that's what's really happening. And so it works. It works because Nancy's work is manufacturing, is mimicking, is reverse engineering our natural state. It's saying, here's some how-to approaches which will help you be these 10 components. What my work suggests, and what the exploration I share suggests, is that you already are those 10 components. And there comes a point where we stop being interested in how do I improve the content of my life, and we start getting interested in, who am I that is having this life? Who am I that is experiencing all this? Why is it that some of these patterns that have shown up in these problems here keep showing up over and over again? Why are they not shifting? Why is it that no matter how many jobs I move to, no matter how many relationships I change, I end up with the same stuff over and over again? And that's when we start to go, well, where is there to look? If I've done all I can trying to solve the problems, where else is there to look? And inevitably we end up looking here. Well, who am I that keeps having this repeating experience? And no matter how many thinking environment sessions I sit in, I keep falling back into these repeating patterns. And that is what invites us into this exploration of, well, who am I really? And when we begin to look at that and we have a direct experience of who we really are, what grows is the feeling of those 10 components being naturally who and what we are. We don't have to do something to make ourselves be that. In the absence of all confusions, all mental and psychological confusions, in the absence of all beliefs that we're something other than these 10 components, those 10 components are just naturally there. They're naturally present. We are naturally at ease and relaxed. We are naturally going to pay attention to who's in front of us. There is an inevitable equality. How on earth it just starts to look nuts. How could I ever say that somebody is better or worse than another? So equality becomes inevitable. And so then we shift into just naturally being who we are in all aspects of life. We don't have to apply 10 components. We don't have to try and do 10 components. We know them to be our essential nature. We know them to be who we essentially are. And so to me, then Nancy Kline's work provides a beautiful doorway. It is like an awakening of this within us that goes, oh my God, yeah, that's much nicer to sit in this space of attention and ease and equality and all the other components. Oh, what's that then? So it has the potential to wake something up within us that can then provide a deeper and deeper inquiry into, well, what's that then? Who am I really that is able to have both this egoic experience and this beautiful experience? Who am I that is aware of both of those? And that's the exploration that takes you into the heart of things. That's the exploration that takes you right into the depths of your being. And your being is exactly what you're looking for in everything else you're doing. And that's exactly what Nancy Kline's work is a manifestation of, and is a conceptual way of opening that door and saying, look here, look what this is like. Look how it feels to be in this kind of space. And then if we follow that trail, it brings us back entirely to ourselves, which is all we've ever wanted. So let me know from this what's occurred to you, what's been coming to mind, what questions, what wonderings, what is it you've experienced that resonates with this, and what do you know really of who you are? I'd love to hear from you. Lots of love.